Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, December 18th. We have some wild weather in store for the Mid-Atlantic region next week. The weekend now looks rather quiet. Low pressure that crossed over Southern California yesterday will indeed move towards Texas over the next 48 hours and then head towards the Mid-Atlantic coastline by the weekend. However, it will be very limited in terms of its intensification, and its precipitation field looks like it'll primarily stay to the south and east of the I-95 corridor region between D.C., Philly, and New York City. Cannot rule out a rain or snow shower Saturday night, early Sunday, but for the most part, the weekend is looking rather quiet right now. However, come Monday, a storm system will likely ride up the East Coast, producing perhaps a soaking rain event here in the I-95 corridor. And then come next Wednesday, Christmas Eve, it looks like there'll be a strong storm centered most likely over the Midwest. There could be a secondary low over the Northeast U.S., likely bringing heavy rain to the I-95 corridor during the day on Wednesday, perhaps even some thunderstorm activity. And then on the backside of that storm, it looks like temperatures could plunge by Thursday, Christmas Day. The winds will howl on Christmas Eve night, Wednesday night, and into the day on Thursday. Out of the west, it looks like. And again, temperatures look like they will drop sharply by Christmas Day. Well, let's first take a look at last night's ensemble run of the GFS model. We're just looking at 500 millibar height anomalies for this morning, and then we'll take a look 1 week from now, next Thursday morning, which is Christmas morning, to see what significant changes are in store in the atmosphere. And that's what's going on here. The atmosphere is evolving. It's undergoing some significant changes over the next several days, and this will lead to a stormy pattern next week and really some wild weather conditions as we transition from a moderately chilly atmosphere, at least here in the Northeast U.S. right now, to a quite substantially colder atmosphere from Christmas Day all the way into New Year's Day. Well, this is from last night's 0Z GFS Ensemble. We're on the forecast for the height anomaly chart for this morning. And notice here, from basically the eastern two-thirds of the nation, kind of a west to east type flow here in the upper part of the atmosphere. Nothing too drastic. We're seasonally chilly today. High temperatures here in the I-95 corridor generally should reach the low 40s, not too far from normal, perhaps a slightly below normal for this time of the year. But notice out here in the eastern Pacific, a trough here. That changes dramatically over the next 7 days. In fact, let's now jump ahead 7 days to see what the forecast map is for the 500 millibar height anomaly chart. Well, here we go. This is the forecast from last night's 0Z GFS Ensemble run for next Thursday, 7 days away, and showing the 500 millibar height anomalies. Just a big difference here. First of all, below normal here, showing up as blues here, lower pressure in terms of 500 millibar anomalies. In other words, a deep trough setting up here over the central and eastern U.S. Look at the big difference here out over the west coast of Canada and the eastern Pacific. We went from this currently to this 7 days from now. This strong ridge popping up along the west coast will promote the movement of cold air masses from northern Canada into the northern U.S. So a significant difference here over the next 7 days. Plus, take a look at what's going on here over eastern Canada, the southern part of Greenland. Some higher pressures right now and lower pressures centered over that region. 7 days from now, just a tremendous area of higher than normal pressures. In other words, a blocking pattern setting up in the atmosphere. So big changes here over Greenland and eastern Canada, indicative of a blocking pattern, higher pressures at the higher latitudes. That tends to keep cold air masses suppressed down into the U.S., combining with this high pressure ridging up along the west coast and, of course, troughing here in the central and eastern U.S. Well, let's take a look at some surface forecast maps. This is last night's from last night's 0Z GFS model run. Three different systems we've been tracking. By the way, all of these maps from tropicaltidbits.com. This is the forecast map for Sunday morning. And again, we were tracking this low pressure that yesterday moved over Southern California. It will move into Texas by later tomorrow. And then here it is by Sunday morning. A rather weak system here. Again, this is the GFS operational version of the GFS from last night. Generally, looks quiet and dry here in the I-95 corridor between D.C. and New York City. Cannot completely rule out a rain or snow shower Saturday night, early Sunday, but for the most part, this system just is limited in terms of its intensification, and its precipitation field tends to stay to the south and east of the I-95 corridor. All in all, a rather quiet-looking weekend here in the I-95 corridor. Well, let's now jump ahead to Monday evening of next week, storm number 2. And storm number 1 looks like it's basically a non-event here in the I-95 corridor. However, another area of low pressure looks like it'll ride up the East Coast on Monday. Here's a low pressure area centered here right along the eastern North Carolina area during the day on Monday. And it looks like this will ride right up the coast and very likely bring a significant rainfall event here to the I-95 corridor, probably centered on Monday afternoon and Monday evening. So a very active period here. One weak system over the weekend stays to our south and east. A second stronger system looks like it'll ride up the East Coast on Monday, producing rain. There's an outside chance at the onset of this precipitation event on Monday. There's some snow or sleet involved in parts of the mid-Atlantic region, but for the most part it looks like it'll turn into, if not completely be, a rain event later Monday into Monday night. That, however, will be followed by an even stronger storm, it looks like, by the middle part of next week. Well, here's the forecast map from last night's Zero's GFS model run for next Wednesday morning, Christmas Eve day, December 24th. And the first storm is already out of the picture that affects the region on Monday, late Monday evening. By Wednesday morning, there will be a strong low pressure area over the upper part of the Midwest and perhaps a secondary low here over the mid-Atlantic region, interior part of the mid-Atlantic region. And it looks like rain will break out on Wednesday. It certainly can turn into a significant soaking rain event on Wednesday, and there's even the possibility of some thunderstorm activity on the warm side of this storm, it looks like, for Wednesday. Again, this is the Wednesday morning forecast map. Let's jump ahead 6 hours. And here we go by Wednesday afternoon. You can even see kind of a band here looking like a potential line of thunderstorms, colder air rushing in behind it. So Wednesday's storm system looks like it'll be quite volatile, potential heavy rain, maybe even some thunderstorms in the I-95 corridor. All of this looks like it'll be followed by much colder weather, perhaps a downright temperature plunge come Wednesday night and Thursday. Of course, we're looking way ahead here. This is about a week ahead. And the winds will be just howling, it looks like, come Christmas Eve night, Wednesday night of next week, into the day on Thursday, associated with that potential temperature plunge. There's an outside chance that this rain changes to snow before ending in the I-95 corridor. We'll, of course, monitor that possibility as we get closer and closer to the event. So lots of action coming our way next week, either what is looking like a rather quiet weekend. That's it for now. For VencoreWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.